Why does missing something hurt, even when you didn't want to go? Social psychology didn't speculate about this. Researchers tested it across 6 independent research studies. And by watching this video, you will learn what fear of missing out is, what it isn't, and what your brain is actually afraid of. Welcome back to Social Psychology Now, where we break down research on how people think, feel, and behave in social environments. As always, I'm Dr. Alex J. Holt, an experimental social psychologist. Today's episode is based on a multi-study paper by Rifkin and colleagues published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. Instead of treating fear of missing out as a trend or a personality quirk, the researchers asked 3 concrete questions. When does fear of missing out reliably occur? What thoughts predicted in the moment? And can it temporarily be reduced? Let's walk through what each study actually found. In the first study, participants imagined one of 3 different situations. Either A, missing an event by themselves, B, missing an event while their friends attended, or C, attending the event. Everything about the event stayed the same, so it was a concert. The only difference was whether meaningful social interaction was happening without them. Results of the study found that people reported higher fear of missing out when they believed that their friends were bonding at the event. This suggests fear of missing out is sensible to miss social connection, not just missing an activity. So, already, this starts to challenge the idea that fear of missing out is just about fun or excitement. Study 2 tested this more directly. In particular, they had 2 separate studies, studies 2A and 2B. Here's the general gist of the studies. Participants imagined missing events that differed in how much social interaction and bonding would happen. Some scenarios emphasized strong connection, others emphasized minimal interaction. The findings of the study were the more bonding people believed that were happening, the more fear of missing out they reported. Not because the event was better, but because the social meaning was higher. But here's the next question. What if the event itself isn't even enjoyable? Study 3 separated 2 things. First, how enjoyable the event was expected to be, and second, whether the participants' own social group was involved. Participants imagined missing enjoyable events with irrelevant groups, or less enjoyable events involving their own group. The results of the study found that participants anticipated more fear of missing out when they were missing events involving their own social group, even when those events weren't expected to be very enjoyable. This shows that fear of missing out isn't driven purely by pleasure or excitement. Who one is bonding with matters more than how fun the activity is. Okay, we're going to take a quick pause here. If you appreciate psychology explained directly from peer-reviewed research, that's exactly what this channel does. If that's useful to you, subscribing helps support more breakdowns like this. So go ahead, click that subscribe button, and back to the research. So at this point, we know when fear of missing out shows up. Now the researchers ask something deeper. What are people actually worried about will happen when they miss out? In study 4, participants browsed the real social media feeds and saw posts about the events their social group attended without them. They reported how much fear of missing out they felt and how concerned they were about future social consequences, like closeness, inclusion, or group standing. The main finding of the study was concerns about future social implications strongly predicted fear of missing out, even when controlling for the event itself. So fear of missing out isn't just a reaction to what happened, it's tied to how people interpret what missing the event might mean socially. Study 5 tested whether people might be biased in these predictions. Participants judged how harmful it would be if they missed a bonding event versus if someone else missed the same bonding event. Results suggest people experience greater negative social consequences for themselves than for others. This suggests a self-focused forecasting bias, which suggests that people may overestimate how much missing out actually affects relationships. So if fear of missing out is partially driven by these beliefs, can changing them reduce fear of missing out? In the final study, participants saw posts about events they missed and then completed one of 3 tasks. Either A, they recalled a past bonding experience where they felt connected and valued. B, imagining a future bonding experience that might happen later. Or C, taking a third-person perspective, distancing themselves emotionally from the event. The results suggest only the group that recalled past bonding experiences showed a reliable reduction in fear of missing out. Imagining future connections or distancing didn't meaningfully reduce fear of missing out. The authors interpreted this as evidence that reinforcing existing feelings of belonging can temporarily attenuate fear of missing out in experimental settings. So here are some takeaways. When you put all 6 studies together, a consistent pattern emerges. Fear of missing out increases when people perceive they're missing social bonding with a valued group. It is not driven only by how fun or exciting the event is. Fear of missing out is strongly linked to concerns about future social implications. Those concerns may be partially exaggerated due to a forecasting bias, and reinforcing existing feelings of belonging can temporarily reduce fear of missing out. In other words, fear of missing out reflects how people interpret the social meaning of their absence, not just the event themselves. If you've ever felt fear of missing out, even when you made the right choice for yourself, this research helps explain why this reaction happens. If you like today's content, I recommend the following things. First, like the video. Tell your algorithm this is some good stuff. 2, subscribe. Stay connected. And third, comment below. How do you feel about this video? Thanks again for watching Social Psychology Now. I hope you have an elite rest of your day.